views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll sit down with Bronx-born photographer Carlita Lopez to discuss the inspiration behind her creative photographs along with her upcoming projects. After that, we'll learn how you can nourish the mind, body, and soul with some aromatherapy and healing crystals when we speak to Founder of Everything Soulful, Joanne Jimenez. Then we'll find out about Bronx Arts Ensemble's upcoming performance featuring cellist Sophie Shao. Plus, we'll get a performance from Bronx Arts Ensemble Young Bronx Artist Competition winner, pianist Daniel Mori. And later on in the show, Bobby C brings us up to date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And finally, our Open Artist Spotlight shines on violinist Yanelli Lamour, who will close us out. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn, and Snapchat at Rhina Valentin. So, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and our next guest uses her camera to capture the different scenes of New York City. And born and raised in the Bronx, she's been able to use the birthplace of hip-hop and her Dominican culture as her muse for art. Joining us to tell us more about her photography and upcoming projects, please welcome photographer Carlita Lopez.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey. Bravo para ti. I want to give you a hands up. Yep.
Thank
just
you.
on finding your own voice through your artwork, right?
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about how you got into photography.
I've always been a very creative person, and I always was very visual. So when I was growing up, I would watch a lot of movies and different videos, like especially music videos, and I was really inspired by that. And I also wanted to create my own kind of vision. It took me until I was like about 23 to get into photography. I went to Dominican Republic and I took photos of Santiago, which is my hometown. And it really felt good to me and it felt safe to me.
So what age did you start? You're saying until
20,
you got
yeah,
23 is when you started, but in your head, you're saying since a very young age, you always were capturing images in your head.
Exactly.
As if though you were photographing
Yeah.
them. And then you finally put a camera in your hand at 23 and went to Dominican Republic. And
it was just wonderful. And it felt right. And once I came back to New York, I started going around the city, going on photo walks, shooting everything that I could find. Like I would go to Brooklyn, to the Brooklyn Bridge. I would go to Soho, and I would just start shooting from there. And then I also started just doing mixtape covers for my friends and be like, oh, let's just take pictures and see how this works.
Did you say tape?
Yeah.
Oh, you're dating yourself. She said mixtape covers.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I can't wait to share with our viewers some of your work because not only are you photographing and documenting our time, right? Because you're kind of like just creating time capsules.
Yes.
But there's also an artistic component to everything that you've done. And so I'm curious to know how you got there, how you evolved into this abstract photography style as well.
Well, one of my biggest influences is Andy Warhol. I took a lot of what he did, and he documented a lot of stuff. So I I was very inspired by the colors he used. Like, I'm a very colorful person, and I feel like most of my photos are what I see through my eyes. You know, like, it could be black and white to many, but for me, it's always colorful like that.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing the images so that we can share with our viewers as we're talking. And so what are we going to be looking at today?
Just different photographs from different time periods, and also things that a lot of the photos that I took were in the Bronx,
Right.
And also Washington Heights.
So that's your Bodega series right there,
Yeah.
right? You've got Bodega Dreams. The one prior to that was The Hood, right? You can tell I combed through your website. I love it. And so what is the idea behind these colors that kind of loan themselves to even being almost like a negative? They kind of remind me of the negative.
Yeah. A lot of people tell me that, like, they say that to me all the time, that a lot of my photos look like negatives. And what I want to do is just give a different view to something that seems so regular to us, like a bodega or like a boombox, for example. And I just like to just give my own style to it.
Right, and so now we're looking at the country club, right? The country club drinks that I believe this series is referenced as merengue.
Yes.
Why is it referenced? Why'd you title it merengue?
Because one, the picture looks like it's moving, and also country club is my favorite soda. So I made that out of love for my childhood. Like, it's very nostalgic to me because I remember as a kid, you know, getting a country club with a pastelito, you know, and that was like,
No, I get it. That's like part of your upbringing, and it's something that you just wanted to make sure.
And I try to
you
mix
preserve.
both,
You're
yeah.
preserving that memory, and so now we're looking at, and once again, here's another abstract style that kind of loans itself to being a negative, and it's Goya. Well, claro.
Yeah. Who doesn't like Goya?
Well, you know, we're all raised on Goya.
Right,
Latinos here in New
right.
York. And they look like they're all lined up in a bodega.
And it wasn't a bodega.
It wasn't a bodega.
So I wanted to, that was part of my Bodega Dream series. So I wanted to capture things that are very natural to us, that we see every day. You know what I mean? And I wanted to just add like a kind of like pop art twist to it, so it could actually be art that you could put up on your wall, and it's not just something you just see every day.
Yeah, I know, and that's exactly what all of your artwork represents.
Thank you.
I really had a great time just skimming through your website.
Thank
and
you.
so this work that you have on the website, is it in print? Is it on display? Can people purchase it as well?
Yeah, all of my stuff is up for purchase. Some of them are displayed in different places, like at the Sampler in Brooklyn. I also have pieces at the Boogie Down Grind, which I have a show tonight in Hunts Point. And
You're part of the artist.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We had them on last week to promote tonight's
The new-
reception, the opening reception.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
tonight.
Yeah. Your
Well,
Lenny's and everybody. Yeah. So.
Right. Actually, it's not tonight. It was last Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
tonight is like the opening like reception for it. It's been up for a week, but tonight's the opening reception.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Actually, it was last week was the opening reception. Last week was the opening.
Was it?
Last Friday. Yeah, it's last Friday.
I missed it.
Yep. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Life
It's
is-
all good. We're here. We're
Right,
here. We're
right,
here.
right.
We're here. We're here. We're here. And so,
That was funny.
and so that being said, what can? But it's still on display, right?
Yes,
At the end of
it'll
the
be-
day, it's still on display.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on display for the entire month of February,
Yes.
right? And I understand that you're also going to be on display with other artists. However, it's there until the end of the month. And what can people expect from your work? What do you have on display there?
Well, the show was based on Black History Month, so I wanted to make pieces that related to our fashion sense, like stuff as like our nails, acrylic nails, do-rags, tattoos, and I wanted to make a collage out of that and just kind of like make it, how can I say, like more gender neutral. So like the men's photos have flowers, and then the women's are like very strong and like very fiery pictures. So I just kind of wanted to like twist it a little bit.
Oh,
So,
wow. Looking
yeah.
forward to that.
Thank you.
Awesome. So for right now, if people want to get your work, do they do that through the website?
Yes, they could do it through my website or my Instagram, Carlita's Way. So you could definitely, if you're interested in anything, you can always send me an email, shoot me an email. I'm down to make prints for anyone. So.
And of course, they can see it in person by going
By
visiting
going- yeah.
the Boogie Down Grind.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you
Thank
for
you
visiting
so
us,
much.
Carlita's
Thank
Way.
you.
We love that. For more on Carlita's work, be sure to visit CarlitaLopezImages.com. All right, we have to take a quick break, but coming up next, we'll discuss natural healing methods for the mind, body, and soul. So don't go anywhere.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, welcome back to Open, everyone. Everything soulful. Ooh, yeah. So it's an online experience, that is, and it's a shop filled with knowledge of healing modalities ranging from food recipes to stones and aromatherapy to soothe the mind, body, and soul. Each item possesses healing properties, symbolism, and mysticism inspired by Mother Nature's elements. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome Everything Soulful founder, Joanne Jimenez. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome,
Thank
sister. We are so excited to have you here. And oh, please do share how Everything Soulful even came about.
Initially, I wanted to share my own healing for myself with everyone. This is the kind of stuff that I've been doing for a long time, just to bring peace to myself. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis like 10 years ago. So my doctor said one of the first things you have to do is just relax, because the rheumatoid was brought about from emotional distress. So whenever you're stressed out and you're holding stuff in, it can manifest itself into a disease. So instead of taking pain medication, I wanted to just relax, soothe my soul, and just like relax my muscles. So I started to just burn oils, like burn lavender to relax, chamomile, to help me go into some meditation, introducing me into yoga and just more like a Zen space.
Right, and it's important, right? And I'm
yeah.
glad you're even opening up in this manner, because at least here in Open, we always try to share with our viewers that there's ways to prevent, instead of like just resorting to being diagnosed by a doctor and then just being complacent with taking medication. There's other means and other modalities that can be used as an alternative, right? And so here we have some rocks, right? We have stones.
We have crystals,
We have crystals, and we have aromatherapy, and we also have some herbs. So can we begin by, I guess, discussing the amethyst?
Okay.
Because I think most people are familiar with amethyst.
Yeah, just basically, this is something that we've been doing for a very long time. If you remember when we were little, you probably already saw an amethyst at home somewhere, and it brings peace, harmony, meditation. And basically what I did was I infused an oil called bliss that has lavender and chamomile and sandalwood, which is very relaxing and soothing, which is I'm burning now with vanilla.
Is that the energy I'm feeling? Because I was like, woo, I feel something that just like
Yeah.
really like fusing in the space and the
Yeah.
energy. So,
So it's basically, it's meditation, it's the stone of meditation and peace. So what I've done is I've infused essential oils, which is combining aromatherapy with crystal healing. And so I've infused it into the solution. And I also have sprays in case you can't burn. So what you do is you just spray it, and basically it just changes the vibe.
oh,
It
wow,
brings
that
peace and
sounds
tranquility.
so wonderful.
Yeah.
And so just to be clear with everyone, let's just show them what you mean by burning in case they don't know.
So here we have an oil burner. It's a soapstone burner from India. I recommend soapstone and not glass because it burns the oil much easier. So you just put a little tea light in here, put a couple of drops, put some water in it, and as you can see, it just brings a very
I just
soothing.
want to show that to everybody.
Yeah.
Look, you see you burn the tea light.
Yep.
And then the oil is on top. And
So we have the roller, which you can put on your pressure points. We're like a human diffuser. Everywhere where you put the oil, where your veins are, naturally it heats up the oil and it evaporates. So we're like a human diffuser. Here, I have it in a dropper, which you put it in the oil burner so that you can smell that. And then I also have it in a spritzer in case you're at work and you're feeling stressed out and you just want to kind of just spritz it out.
nice.
So
And
that's-
each one represents a different energy, right?
Yes.
So I did want to show before we move on to sharing more details that you also have these wonderful
Amulets.
amulets
Yep.
that are so beautiful. And it just seems that you have a collection, right? So it's
Yes.
like you have the stone, the aromatherapy, and then the amulet so that you can wear it with you, right?
Giving a shout out to my friend, my sister friend, Jasmine Gonzalez. She wraps them. These are amulets, and we put them on sandalwood beads, bringing in the Asian tradition of mala beads. They use mala beads. They put sandalwood and mala beads because they bring about a very soothing, relaxing, meditative vibe. So we're combining here the amethyst with sandalwood just to bring about a very calming sense.
Now, you know, I would love to talk about every single item we have on this table, but I want to make sure that everybody gets and has an idea of all of the different components that you offer online that is at your fingertips, literally at your fingertips, and what they're used for. And so I remember us having a conversation about an azabache. So
Yes.
let's share a little bit
Yes.
about that.
So this is a black tourmaline. Normally, when we were little, in the Afro-Caribbean culture, they would latch on a little bracelet on you with mano de azabache. In Brazil, they call it the figa, which is for protection. And they were originally made of black tourmaline, which absorbs negative energy. That was the inspiration for me to put it into the protection oil, which you see here. So these are little pieces of black tourmaline in here.
Beautiful. And then we have the herbs.
Yes.
Right?
These are for burning. This one, we were talking about lavender and chamomile, which is relaxing.
Right.
So here they are in herb form. You can actually burn them as well. I just want to say the important thing about burning and scents is when you inhale something, it travels into your lungs and it goes into the brain. And in turn, that affects how you feel. Your emotions, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your stress level, your memory. So we're used to ingesting herbs to make us feel better,
Right.
but you can also smell it and it travels to the brain faster and it affects the way that you feel internally.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, right? And so, and just to kind of piggyback off of what she's saying, like when it comes to the stones actually create a nice energy in your space. And then, of course, when you wear them, you're carrying that
Yes.
energy with you. And in closing, we're going to
Yes.
talk about the ointment, right? Because there's that component of healing as well.
Yes. So basically the line is a celebration. It's a celebration of our ancestors and all of the things that we were brought up with. And just simply, fermenting herbs is a very old school thing. This is chili pepper leaves, coffee leaves, ginger, cinnamon, all fermented in bay rum, bringing out the healing properties of all the herbs. So this is one of the first things that I started working with for myself for my own RA.
Right. That's why
And
we're coming full circle
yeah.
because this is what inspired this collection.
Yeah.
And this assisted you, right?
Yeah, it definitely did.
Where
and
are
it's
you now with your RA?
I'm actually in a much better place. No pain medication. My medications went down. My doctor doesn't understand. She says my level of RA is as if I'm 75 years old, but yet I'm jumping around and moving around like I'm okay. And it's because of natural herbs. Not just pushing this line, but I just want to tell everyone, just find natural ways of healing yourself. Whenever they medicate anything to you, look at the side effects of everything,
Wait,
but
don't
also
put that away yet.
okay, but
No,
also
because
try to
because I wanted
yeah.
to ask you a question regarding like a carpal tunnel syndrome, right? Because you're referencing rheumatoid arthritis, but now that I have, because I kind of gave it a name, I wish I didn't, but there's that constant using the computer and the mouse, and I've actually had to invest in getting hand massages regularly
Got it.
just to alleviate my hands. So is that also good for that?
Absolutely. This is good for muscle tension, for pain. It's actually good for asthma, respiratory issues, but it has anti-inflammatory ingredients in here like ginger that help. Yeah, of course. And the cute thing is that it comes in a roll-on. Remember how the alcoholado, the old school, it came in a bottle and it was really messy?
Right.
You
Yeah,
had to
you
break
have to
out
go
the
like this and
towel.
then go,
Yeah, so this is like an on-the-go natural medicine.
Yeah, and
for
also
pain.
used in moderation because it's a
Yes.
roll-on, so you're not overdoing it.
Exactly. So it has sage, it has
Oh, it
arnica.
smells so delicious and so natural.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I'm not inventing anything. This is passed on from our ancestors. I just put a little bit of flair into it of my own. And you know, like I said, this is just a celebration of our culture. The point of this is self-love, is to encourage people to love themselves, to spend the time finding things to heal themselves, to make themselves happy. And by way of that, the stronger that we become, the better that we are.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it's all there. And Mother Nature provided it, and thank you for coming here and
Thank
sharing
you
it with
so
us.
much. Thank
Woo!
you.
Yes, love that.
Thank
You
you.
guys, once again, to learn more and shop for some unique items, please visit everythingsoulfulshop.com. We are going to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to find out about the Bronx Arts Ensemble upcoming performance. Don't go anywhere. Lovely.
Thank you so much.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. My name is Harvey Lauer. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Hey, welcome back to Open, everyone. You know, always inviting you to stay connected with us. That's right. Be sure to like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow me too at Rhina Valentin. The Bronx Arts Ensemble is all about showcasing music and related arts to the community through live performances and arts education. The organization is holding an upcoming performance featuring new cellist Sophie Shao. And joining us to tell us more about the concert, we welcome Bronx Arts Ensemble Executive Director David Nussenbaum and the William J. Scribner Young Bronx Artists Competition winner Daniel Maury. Hello and welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, welcome back. We really enjoy having you on, and we love the work that the Bronx Arts Ensemble does for the next generation of these master musicians. That's right. I already put it out into the universe. So, David, let's talk. Let's give everybody a little insight, a little background on the Bronx Arts Ensemble.
Oh, sure. So we've been around for over 40 years here in the Bronx. And we were founded by my predecessor, Bill Scribner, so we'll get to him in a second when we talk about the Young Artist Competition. But as you said, what we do is simple. We have really two sorts of programs. We perform concerts with professional musicians throughout the Bronx, and we teach in over 40 schools throughout the Bronx. So teach music, dance, theater, visual arts, so two very important missions.
It is a very important mission, and it's important that they remain within our schools. And so it's lovely that you've been able to establish that marriage because, you know, that seems to be being pushed to the side when it comes to the Department of Education. So can you just share a little bit about how you formulated that
well, I think you hit the nail. You hit
it,
the nail on the head. Is that I think back in the '80s, with all the increased focus on testing and STEM, the arts were lost out, and there were less full-time arts faculty in the school. Fortunately, there is some funds that the schools have available to bring in teaching artists from Bronx Arts Ensemble and other organizations like ours, and we have proven time and again how important this is to so many students who are sort of finding themselves, and obviously the impact is also directly on academics as well, and attendance, and so it's a very positive thing that we're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that, because I was going to ask, like, what are some of the success stories you've been able to experience and be a part of, and just knowing for a fact that it is through that artistry that that child or that individual or that team, because, you know, they don't want to be called children. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
Right.
Especially when you're a master
I mean, we hear anecdotal success stories. You know, every year there's another set of students who come to us and tell our teaching artists how important these programs are. Obviously, there are more statistical results, the studies that have been done in terms of the impact of music and art on creativity in other disciplines, and certainly we're also building a new generation of professional artists and lovers of art.
Wonderful. Let's get to know Daniel Mori. Right. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
So, may I ask, how did you find the Bronx Arts Ensemble?
Well, obviously, because I live in the Bronx, I live in Kingsbridge, I was looking for a more, like, you know, communal kind of way to experience art and to spread my practices.
Which are? What are your practices?
I play the piano. Only the piano. I've been practicing for almost 11 years. And
Nice.
I actually don't remember how I started, because by the time I, you know, started to understand what I was doing, I was already there sitting on the bench, so, you know. But yeah, the Bronx Arts Ensemble really, I felt really welcome there, and I just thought that it was really cool, so.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And I understand you also have other practices. Do those other practices assist your music practice?
Yes, actually. I also practice a martial arts called Kendo. That really teaches me about patience and, like, mental control while I practice, because not everything goes as I wish while I practice piano. So I kind of need to just wait it out, kind of just build up, like, mentally, and hope that that actually goes into my music.
Lovely. Well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now there's this wonderful concert series that's coming up, right? And then you have this cellist, right, who's new to Bay, as you guys like to refer to the Bronx Arts Ensemble.
Exactly. So the 23rd of February, a week from Saturday, mark your calendars, there's going to be an evening full concert at a place called the Dodge Mansion in Riverdale. It's going to be a really wonderful event, and a trio of 3 women musicians, cellist Sophie Shao, who recently moved to the Bronx, as well as violinist, pianist, are going to be playing a wonderful concert with Mexican music and some Czech music. And then Daniel here is going to be playing a solo piano piece. And then a mini version of that program is going to be offered for free at the Bronx Library Center that afternoon of the 23rd up on Kingsbridge Road. So there's an hour version. For the abbreviated version, which is free, the public is welcome. Check out our website and the website of the New York Public Library. But then the main formal concert is going to be Saturday evening.
So before we go, I'm curious to know, how does one apply to become, to participate in the competition?
Right.
And how did the competition itself come about?
So, as I mentioned before, our founder, Bill Scribner, created this at least 25 years ago. I forget exactly how long ago. And in April, we have Vladeck Hall at the Amalgamated Complex, where we invite the public. You have to be a Bronx person, but we invite the public of musicians under 21 to come and audition. And we have a panel, and we selected 2 marvelous pianists last year, including Daniel. So I encourage everyone to go to our website, find out about the exact time and location of the competition, and please apply. And then also we've implemented a junior version of it for the very kids that we're teaching in the public schools that are somewhat younger than Daniel and some of the competitors in the senior level one. And that's sort of by invitation only for the kids that we're actually teaching in the public schools.
Beautiful. And all of this is available on your
On our
website.
website, yes.
And we thank you once again,
Thank
always,
you,
David,
of
for coming by
course.
and sharing the wonderful, wonderful development that the Bronx Arts Ensemble continues to provide in the
Great.
Bronx. And then you, Daniel, are going to give us a little taste of what's to come for the concert on February 23rd, right?
Yes.
All right, we're looking forward to that. You guys, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Daniel's going to give us a taste of what we should expect from their upcoming concert. Don't go anywhere.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Hello, welcome back to Open, everyone. Here now to perform for the Bronx Arts Ensemble upcoming concert. Please welcome Daniel Mori. Bravo! Bravo, Daniel Mori. Bravo. Thank you, darling. Thank you for blessing our stage. You guys, once again, Daniel Mori will be performing with Sophie Xiao for the Bronx Arts Ensemble concert taking place February 23rd, beginning at 7:30 p.m. at Gun House, located at 690 West 247th Street. And for more information, please visit bronxartsensemble.org. All right, stay tuned, you guys. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh, no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school. Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
No.
Valentine's Day just passed, and this coming weekend, sports fans have plenty to love. Typically, our BronxNet cameras would be heading to the NBA All-Star Game to check out the dunk comp and the Sunday Showdown. But this year, I'm heading to Daytona for the Daytona 500, checking off another box on my sports bucket list. In honor of racing, I put on my Lewis Hamilton F1 jacket this morning because the recent perk in the weather is a strong sign that racing is set to return in 2019. And the first jewel in the crown of the race season is definitely the Daytona 500. In every major professional sport, there's one event that is more prestigious than all the others. Golf has the Masters, tennis has Wimbledon, football has the Super Bowl, hockey has the Stanley Cup, and so on and so forth. But the one thing that makes NASCAR different than all of the other pro sports is that their biggest race of the year does not happen at the end of the season. It happens in the beginning. The Daytona 500 marks the official start to the NASCAR season each year and remains their biggest race with the largest payouts of any other race in the year, and it isn't even close. For example, in 2015, Joey Logano won $1.5 million after winning the Daytona 500, and the next highest payout that season was close to $500,000. In other words, in NASCAR, the Daytona 500 is a big deal. In racing, the Daytona 500 is a big deal. So to get ready for this Sunday's race, which starts 2:30 p.m. in Florida, here are the top 10 finishes in Daytona 500 history. Coming in at number 10, Kevin Harvick comes out of nowhere on the last lap to edge Mark Martin by half a fender in a thrilling finish in 2007. Behind them, as they race to the checkered flag, a huge crash takes out a number of cars, including Clint Boyer's Chevrolet, which flips and catches fire. Number 9, and an extremely popular finish, Bobby Allison wins over son Davey, the only time in history that a father-son combination finished 1-2 in the Daytona 500. At age 50, Bobby becomes the oldest 500 winner. That was 1988. The 8th spot belongs to Denny Hamlin. In 2016, 5 Toyota drivers race in lockstep over the closing laps, with Hamlin edging Martin Truex Jr. at the start-finish line by 0.010 seconds in the closest Daytona 500 finish since the advent of electronic timing and scoring. 6 years earlier, in 2011, the Daytona 500 saw one of the greatest sports upsets in history. The 7th spot on my list of the top 10 Daytona 500 finishes goes to Trevor Bayne. Bayne captures the Daytona 500 and only his second career NASCAR Premier Series start. Bayne's victory, which comes one day after he turns 20, is the first for the Wood brothers in a decade. Coming in at number 6, Michael Waltrip breaks an 462 streak to win his first NASCAR points race ahead of Dale Earnhardt Inc. teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. But on the last corner of the last lap, team owner and 7-time NASCAR Premier Series champion Dale Earnhardt is killed in a crash, a heartbreaking finish in 2001. Number 5, with father Ned Jarrett in the TV booth calling the dramatic finish, and nervous mother Martha in the motorhome. Dale Jarrett holds off Dale Earnhardt on the last lap to win what becomes known as the Dale and Dale Show. That was 1993. More Intimidator in 1998 in the 4th spot, one of my faves. Dale Earnhardt ends 20 years of frustration by finally winning the Daytona 500. Afterward, virtually every crew member in the entire garage lines up along pit road to salute the man in black as he rolls by in the black number 3 Richard Childress Racing Chevy. We go back in time to 1959 for the very first Daytona 500, and the number 3 spot on my top 10 list of the best Daytona 500 finishes. Petty family patriarch Lee Petty captures the inaugural Daytona 500 in a photo finish that isn't made official, check this out, until the following Wednesday. That race helps put NASCAR on the national map. In the 2nd spot, on the last lap, NASCAR legends Richard Petty and David Pearson wreck each other, going for the victory, with Pearson able to refire his Wood Brothers Racing Mercury and limp across the finish line for the victory. That was 1976. And in the top spot, I'll actually take last year's Daytona 500. The number 3 was number 1 again at Daytona on a day and a race and a place forever linked with the great Dale Earnhardt. Austin Dillon won the Daytona 500 driving the iconic number 3 Chevrolet that Earnhardt piloted for most of his career. Earnhardt was behind the wheel of number 3 when he won his only Daytona 500 in 1998, as mentioned, and when he was killed in an accident on the final lap of the race 3 years later. Dillon's victory in the 60th running of the Great American Race came 17 years to the day of Earnhardt's fatal crash. We hit the C-list for my pick this Sunday. The 61st edition of the Daytona 500 gets underway Sunday as NASCAR's top drivers get the new season started with one of the sport's most historic races. Daytona International Speedway will host the Great American Race as drivers take on the 2.5-mile track. Austin Dillon won the race last year despite only leading 1 lap and starting from the number 14 position. The 500 is a tricky race, of course. My money will be on Kevin Harvick. For the majority of the 2018 season, Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex Jr. controlled the narrative. With so many wins, they were dubbed the Big Three. Harvick and Busch racked up 8 checkered flags each, while Truex had 4. And even though all 3 made it to the championship race at Homestead Miami Speedway, Joey Logano ended up winning it all with his 3rd victory of the season. Despite saying that, I'll be rooting for Jimmy Johnson. The 7-time Cup Series champ is undeniably one of the best drivers on the track, but the 2018 season was his first in 17 years as a full-time driver without a trip to victory lane. The 43-year-old Johnson has 83 career wins, but his last was in June of 2017 at Dover International Speedway. 2018 wasn't a great year for him. Johnson still managed to make the playoffs last season despite not winning a race, but he might not get so lucky this time. However, he has a new crew chief this year and could start on the right foot with a win at the Daytona 500. I like to see old-time legends pull it off. Safe bet is Harvick, dream finish, Johnson. How about Harvick and Johnson head-to-head on the final lap? Sounds good to me. Enjoy the race. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. Our next guest is a talented violinist from the Bronx who always had a passion for music. And after graduating from Celia Cruz Bronx High School of Music, she obtained her BA in theater speech at City College. And she's performed at Radio City Music Hall, the world-famous Apollo Theater, and that's just to name a few. And we welcome violinist Yanelli Lamour. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Rhina.
Hello, thank you for being here, lovely.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
So we're excited to have you, and you know, you've got quite the resume there already for somebody so young.
Thank you.
What age did you start all of this?
Oh wow, I've started taking classes when I was 6 years old and continued with music ever since. Actually.
All right. So did you study violin at 6?
Actually no. The first instrument that I started playing was piano. I started taking piano classes, and then my passion kept on going. And then I took that with me to high school in Celia Cruz. First started with piano as a solo pianist, entered chorus as well. And then I saw the violin, and I'm like, I need to learn how to play that too. And since then, I've definitely continued and never let it go.
Wow, that's lovely. And so is it true that once you learn one instrument, it's easier to transfer over to the other?
The piano and the violin are related in the sense that they are both string instruments. And because I already had knowledge in theory, it was theoretically not that difficult, but when it came up to the practical sense, it was still very difficult. Because with the violin, other than with ear and with the certain strings that you know that are there, you got to figure it out on your own. So
I know, and you know, the thing about it is that I think you made a really great choice. I mean, we love the piano, which you're able to play, right? But the violin has like this trendy sound all of a sudden. Like for the past couple of years, I've just found that violins are are accompanying like urban music and hip hop music, right?
Absolutely.
And so I understand you sing also.
I do.
But you don't do them both at the same time, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Ouch. Ooh, we got to be scared of you.
So stay tuned. I'll keep you posted.
Oh my gosh, you're going to be able to learn that?
Yeah.
To manage them both simultaneously?
Absolutely. Yes.
You know what? I have faith that you will too.
Thank you.
So where are you performing nowadays?
I perform wherever it is that I'm needed. I travel very frequently. I go to Maryland, Delaware, Jersey, Boston, wherever it is.
So how do you get your bookings?
Independently. So I have a team backing me up.
You have a team backing you up? Yes. Lovely. And what about studio time? Do you have any recordings?
I do have recordings. I have new songs and a lot of work that's coming up as well. So you'll definitely stay tuned with that too.
Yeah, so you know, I'm all about inquiring minds because you look so beautiful and I can't wait to share with everyone because I got a little taste of it. However, I'm also interested in artists managing their own careers and it sounds to me like you're on that path. So I'm just curious to know, are you also a songwriter?
Yes, I am. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, and the studio life, whenever I am not on the road, I'm definitely in the studio creating, trying to come up with something new and just expanding my sound and different styles as well.
So how has it been for you in this era, right? Because now I just feel that it's so much easier to just mobilize your work and have it seen and even have it sold, right? Through like all these other channels like Tidal and Spotify and what is it? Apple, all of those, right? So that's all independent, right? So how has it been for you being independent, because that's what you reference yourself as, making your, I guess, living off of your talents?
It's been very beautiful, it's been a journey within itself because every performance, every opportunity, every moment that I have, it's completely unpredictable and totally different, and I think that's what makes it very exciting and very unique. It's not necessarily something that you wake up today and you're like, okay, this is, you know, it's going to be the same thing as yesterday. You really have no idea. And then the best thing is that I really get to also meet and work with other like-minded people, which I love.
And who doesn't love just creating every single day?
It is. It is. It's very fun. I love it.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing those wonderful words of inspiration and blessings to you. And we're going to bless you guys in a minute because she's going to be playing for us in a few. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Yanelli's going to perform a piece you don't want to miss. So don't go anywhere.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
it's now time for this week's Open Artist Spotlight. Here now to perform a violin piece to Baila, Baila, Baila by Osuna. Please welcome violinist, Yanelli Lamour. Yanelli Lamour, everyone! Woo! Lovely. Baila, baila, baila. For more on Yanelli music, be sure to check her out on Instagram at Yanelli Lamour. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin. And from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Yanelli, take it away.